going on 4 years now of being diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 1, and bitch, I still can't identify which mood I'm going through. Am I depressed? Am I manic? Am I hypomanic? Is it a mixed episode? Am I rapid cycling? Bitch, I don't know. What I do know is that this ain't it. What's going on, you guys? Oh wow. Okay, well, might as well just jump right into it, considering that most times my intros are full of energy and that was just kind of lame. So essentially, I don't know, I've been struggling for the past year if you watch my videos, but I've been really struggling lately, and by lately I mean the last week. Suicidal ideation is way up there, but like I'm fine. I don't know, I haven't felt this way in a while. I've gone through feelings or periods of sadness, obviously, since, when was the last time I was depressed? Since like 2019, 2018. One of those years is when my last depressive episode was. I didn't have one last year, which was amazing. This time last year I was wilding, but typically I have them in the winter, and last winter, as in winter 2019, right before COVID, was the best time ever. It wasn't the best time ever, but the point is, I was able to evade a depressive episode. Why are they doing fucking fireworks? It's like broad daylight, unless those are gunshots. I've never been depressed in the summer, which is kind of a weird feeling because the summer is typically, fun and lively, and it's warm and everyone's outside, full of energy. But lately, I've just been feeling like everything around me is falling apart and my world is crashing. That being said, though, I don't feel necessarily depressed from, the 10 plus years of experience I have feeling depressed. It doesn't feel like that. Like obviously I feel sad, and maybe not so obviously, but I feel sad in the sense that my mind goes to maybe things would be better if I wasn't here. Maybe everyone else's lives would be better if I wasn't here. Maybe, that's, I'm not going to say the easy way out, but it's sort of what my mind jumps to. It's like, well, this is just much easier. Like, life is just too hard right now. And it's less about me not wanting life to be challenging, but like, if this is me, this is life. So yeah, don't get me wrong though. I definitely have periods when I'm feeling that sort of familiar depression, but they don't last long at all. Like right now, I'm literally kind of having one of those suicidal ideation periods where I don't necessarily want to do anything to myself, don't have a plan, none of that. I'm perfectly safe. It's not a crisis situation, but I'm just like, this is not it anymore, and I'm tired of surviving my life. And not only that, half the things that I'm dealing with are my fault. And like, yeah, y'all say like it's not my fault, but they are my fault. They're the consequence. Let me reframe that. They are the consequences of myself. I did something. They have consequences. Is it my fault necessarily? Yes. But yeah. Either way, it sucks that this whole year has just been one big hot ass mess. And it's all kind of coming to fruition in the sense that I'm so tired. I'm just tired of waking up every single day and having to do things that I feel like I'm one step behind. I'm always one step behind, whether that's with work, whether that's with my recovery, whether that's with like finances, whether that's with like social, like, and friends and all of that jazz. Like it's exhausting. And then my mind goes to, well, if this is how things continue to go, not only if this is how things continue to go, but things are still progressively getting worse for me. So no matter how hard we try, it doesn't really seem to be fixing anything or working to get better. So it's like, what's the point? On the other hand of that, I'm still, again, I want to be doing things. I want to be out enjoying life, and I do all the time. I'm not sad in that way, and that's kind of what brings me right back, is that I don't want to not be here. I'm just exhausted, like mentally, mostly mentally. And with my depression in the past, it wasn't that I didn't want to live, but the feelings of suicide or the feelings of not wanting to live, like I couldn't even imagine living. Like it was like, no, I did not want to. There was no glimmer of hope. Maybe that's just what happens when you get to a certain point in crisis or a certain point, not dealing with this. But I don't remember ever it feeling like this and then progressively getting worse. It was just shitty and terrible every single day. Like when I would wake up, it would suck. This morning, I woke up fine, happy even, ready to start the day, ready to see what the day brings me. In all honesty, like now, in this current state, it's weird in the sense that it's bringing up a lot of old childhood feelings, which is really fucking sad to say, but it's true nonetheless. I discovered or reopened or retrieved from my memory last year, not on purpose, this was on accident, so you can imagine to my surprise and my shock and my emotional dismay. As a kid, really since the age of 5 and 6, I would always tell my therapist and my parents, and this is just the way I felt. I always felt that life would be better without me in it, or, maybe this isn't for me, or, I just always felt like I was being a burden. And while I was too young to really comprehend what suicide then meant and like what all of that realm of life or non-life, at the age of 5, I literally felt as though, number one, I did not want to be here, like as in be alive. I didn't know what to do about that, but I didn't want to be alive. And I felt like I was a burden on my family. I felt as though people were fighting and arguing. Again, my childhood was dominated by a custody battle between my mom's side and my dad's side. And with all of that fighting, all of that, it was a lot. I felt as though I was being a burden because quite literally, if I wasn't alive, then no one would be fighting. None of that would happen. All the money spent on lawyers wouldn't have happened. All of these things would not have happened just for me to be here. And I say just for me because I guess I internalized myself as being not worth all the headache and like heartache and pain and just blah. It seemed like a simple answer to just remove me from the equation. I think I'm really coming to terms, while I don't think about it every single day, well, that's a lie. While it doesn't put me into a state of crisis every single day or every single minute, or while I'm not having panic attacks every single day, panic attacks are up previously to last year for me. But the loss that I suffered back in this fucking winter really did do a number on me. And I said I was fine, and like I am fine. But I mean, it really was a lot in the sense that it would be a lot for anybody. And I think that, number one, I wasn't allowing myself to feel, because I just didn't really want to admit that I was sad or feeling some type of way about these things, because any type of sadness for me means that like we can go down the route of depression and then like suicidal ideation, which we've kind of gone down, but that's beyond the point. I don't ever want to experience those things because it's so extremely painful. But I lost my grandmother, she passed away. I lost my romantic relationship, we broke up, or they ghosted me, and that's how I found out we broke up. My best friend since high school just kind of went MIA, disappeared, and have not talked to him since. So basically that's a simulation of death. I don't know. But all three of those are huge losses, huge significant losses to myself. And what's the one thing that I have trouble with as somebody with developmental trauma disorder and attachment issues? People leaving. So clearly that was going to, I knew it was going to affect me, I just didn't know when, but clearly that did a number and it's doing a number, and I'm just all fucked up from it. But all those feelings that I have, all the feelings of being a burden, feeling like no one's there for me, feeling like people are leaving me, all of those feelings are being pulled from childhood. Like I am being flashed back, quite literally, to childhood rather than what just happened, which is why it feels weird to connect it to those stressors, but they were stressors. But I think it was less, in a sense, or at least the way I'm feeling now, is less about those people. Rest in peace, Grandma. The other two, fuck y'all. But it's less about those people directly, and it's more about that being kind of the trigger that has now placed me back to the state I was in 6 years ago. And on top of all of that, I'm extremely self-aware now these days. Before I really had no idea why I was feeling this way, and maybe that's why the sadness doesn't feel the same. Before, I had no idea what these feelings were, no idea about attachment problems, no idea about bipolar disorder, no knowledge around any of this. All I knew is that life sucked and I wanted out. But now I'm self-aware about how I'm feeling. I just explained to y'all where it's coming from. I'm self-aware about some of the irrational or rational thoughts that I'm having as it regards to certain people. The biggest one is that I feel very lonely lately, extremely lonely, in the sense that while I have a huge ass support system, a lot of them aren't in the same city that I live in. And I also just feel naturally like a burden. Maybe not naturally, but I feel like a burden to my friends, having always needing to talk to them about either how I'm feeling or about something that they did that made me feel some type of way. I hate that. I feel like a burden just quite literally calling people all the time, wanting to hang out with people all the time. I asked a friend if they could just sit with me and do work because like I can't, it just made me feel better, and I hate having to do that. I hate getting, irrationally upset or disproportionately, I think it's rational to be upset or feel some type of way, but disproportionately upset when people say they're going to do things and they don't do them. And I don't mean like something important, but calling me back on a day that they said they're going to call me back. Like they say, I'm going to call you back today and we can talk. It's like, okay, and if they don't, or if they forget, or whatever happens, I act as though they just killed my dad, and that's like how it feels inside. But it's not like that, and people aren't intently malicious towards me, and I understand that logically, and I understand why I have those feelings. But it doesn't mean that those feelings are removed, so I'm dealing with a lot of internal strife and a lot of internal processing that is hard to share with people. We've been feeling lonely. And it's, again, bringing me back to my childhood in the sense that as a kid, I always felt alone. But it's less about being physically alone. I am quite literally physically alone. I have been quite physically alone in the past, and I am like currently. But it's also about feeling alone in these emotions, because the people who I want to hear how I'm feeling are not the people. It's not my therapist. It's not my doctors. I don't care. I don't want them to hear it. I want people, I think it's the caring piece. I want to tell the people that I care about so that they care about me, and I know that there's love there, or I know that I'm cared for. I think that's what I feel like I'm missing. I feel as though my life is really hard right now, and I'm struggling a lot, and it's just a lot. And I feel as though everything out there that's not happening within me or not happening in my life, I feel like everyone else is just living their lives. Everyone else is super happy. Everybody else is just out there doing their thing, and I'm just here freaking out over the mistakes that I've made in the past. My life is crumbling, and things are not good. And what's worse out of all of this is that none of the other people in my life notice or see. And clearly this is a problem for me because I feel like I'm getting a little bit emotional right now. Yeah, so it's a lot, you guys. It's a lot, but we've done this before. We can get through it again, right? Last few things is that I think it's also hard being in a new city, because the friends that I have here, which I realized this weekend, while they care, or they say they care, but while they care, and I'm sure they want the best for me, they don't know me. They don't know me, in the sense that my friends at home, my friends from school have had years to get to know me and to get to know my triggers, to get to know what I like. They just know me, even when I'm lying. So my friends here have not had that chance. They've known me at tops a year, 2 years, but most of them who I at least talk to and engage with on a daily basis have only known me for like 6 months or a couple of months. So it takes some time, and I want people to match the emotions or the connections that I have with friends and family from high school, elementary school, college, and you can't match those because time is the issue. And I think that's another big piece of why I feel lonely and sad, and just, I guess I am sad and depressed. I don't know, because I started this video out and I was like, I'm not depressed. And I think I've just described what depression feels like. In an hour, I'll probably be dancing around my room with my dog, listening to Miley Cyrus, and happy as can be. So that's why I think that it's confusing in terms of if I'm depressed or not. And it could be a mixed episode. It could be rapid cycling. Who knows? I'm also in the middle of going up on my regular medication, so body is all out of whack. Not really sure how to end this video, but I don't want to leave it on this sort of somber note. I did get this tattoo, if y'all can see it right there, not too long ago. It's a semicolon, and it has a heart on top instead of like just a dot. Not sure if y'all are familiar with the semicolon project, but it's essentially, well, the semicolon, you know what that is, right? Well, kind of. I don't know how to use one, to be honest. I just be putting that shit anywhere. Anyway, as you very well know, a semicolon is used to denote a pause, a rest, like, whew, whew. You know that emoji? Like, it's the new one that's like, whew. Yeah, it's that. So I got that especially on my hand so that it's a reminder that no matter how bad things get, just take a pause, take a breather, and appreciate everything that you currently have, appreciate what's going on in life, and just to appreciate. And it can be the smallest thing. Yesterday I was feeling the same way, and I took a little drive because that helps calm me down. And it was just a very nice day outside, and I just got, and my mood was just uplifted because I started thinking about, okay, my world is crashing around me, but right now in this car, good music, good vibes, it's pretty outside, it's not raining, it's fucking dope. And that right there was enough to kind of get me through the day. And now it's time for me to go figure out what the hell's going to get me through the rest of this day. Alright y'all, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, turn on those subscription notifications for new videos each week. Until next time, peace.